The Johns Hopkins Kimmel Cancer Center's LiveWell series gets breast cancer survivors and their families moving. Fun, easy routines demonstrated by Shauna Harrison, certified Under Armour trainer, and survivors like you. Modified options for every fitness level, body type, and treatment stage. Enjoy these exercises and strengthen your body, mind, and spirit. Now let's get going.
Hi, I'm Shauna Harrison, and today I am here with Grace and Sarah, who are breast cancer survivors, and we are going to be doing some sun salutations. So sun salutations are used in yoga typically as more of a warm-up. It can also kind of thread through a flow class. We're going to focus just on those sun salutations today and kind of break them down and go through them a little bit. So we're all going to start at the top of our mat, and we want the toes to be facing forward. You want your heels and toes to be in line. Your feet are going to be about hip width apart, and just lift your toes up for a second. So we just want to kind of find the center point of the feet so that we know exactly where that is. And once we get that, then we can set the toes down. And what we don't want to do is grip the toes into the ground so that we're trying to hold on with all our might, right? So just let your feet kind of relax. And then from there, take a big inhale, reach your arms all the way up and over your head. You can look up if you want. And then as we exhale, we're going to fold forward with a flat back. If you need to bend your knees to do that, feel free to do that. We're going to come all the way down towards the ground. And when we get there, let's just bend those knees a lot. Let your head hang. Just kind of shake your head out, yes and no, maybe roll through your shoulders a little bit. Knees are super bent here, so I'm not actually trying to get into a hamstring stretch. Just kind of rolling around, loosening up a little bit. Good, and then I'm gonna start to straighten out my legs, and I'm gonna walk my hands up. You can walk your hands up as high as those thighs if you'd like. You can also come to your shins if that works better for you. What I really want you to focus on here is getting a nice flat back. So I'm gonna have Sarah walk her hands up to her thighs, getting those legs nice and straight. Good, flattening out the spine as much as you can, drawing those shoulder blades down. So what we're looking for here is a flat back, right? Not a rounded position. I don't care about you getting down towards your feet if it takes your spine out of alignment. So I'd rather you come up a little bit higher. So this is our halfway position here. We're gonna take one more inhale, and then we're gonna exhale. Bend your knees enough to get your hands down onto the ground. Good, and we're gonna step back to the top of a plank. If a plank is too much for you, just drop down onto your knees. It's always an option. You can also come to a sort of all fours position if you need to do that too. So we're gonna hold here, and then we're gonna come down into chaturanga. So chaturanga is obviously a little bit more strength requirements than normal. So we're gonna instead, if you wanna drop to your knees, we can do that too. Either way, we're gonna shift forward a little bit. We're gonna bend those elbows, and maybe we just lower ourselves all the way down into the floor. Sarah and Grace may show you that. Otherwise, if you wanna take it a little bit more of like a push-up, we're gonna lower down towards the ground. We're all gonna be down onto the ground though. Untuck our toes, draw the shoulder blades away, pull those elbows in next to us, and then just take an inhale here. It's a little modified cobra position. Just watch out for those elbows going out to the side. Draw those elbows in towards you. Let those shoulder blades come down. Take an inhale here. Good. If you wanna take this a little bit further, we can come into upward facing dog with the tops of the feet down onto the floor. I'm gonna have Sarah and Grace stay right where they are. I'm gonna come up into that upward facing dog. Watching out here, I don't want to snap through those elbows. I don't want to drop through those shoulder blades. So if this is the position you end up in, come back to where Sarah and Grace are. It's a much better position for you to be in instead. So press down through those hands, draw those shoulder blades down, press down through those feet. And then Sarah and Grace are going to press back onto their knees. We're all going to come to a downward facing dog. So I'm going to press straight back from where I am. So in that downward facing dog, hips are going up and back, curling those toes under. We're gonna press those shoulder blades away from our ears, press those hands down towards the mat, you got it. You can bend your knees as much as you need to. Sarah's taking an all fours position, that works fine too. Great, perfect, just breathing. Most important thing is just focus on that breath. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose if we can. If the nose doesn't work, just make sure you keep breathing. Good, take one more inhale. And then as we exhale, we're gonna look forward at our hands. We're gonna step that right foot forward, step your left foot forward. If you don't come all the way up, just walk as far as you can and then walk your toes all the way up to meet your hands. We're gonna come back to that halfway position. So hands on your shins or your thighs, lengthen that tailbone behind you, lengthen the top of the head forward. And then exhale, release. Flat back, take an inhale. You can bend your knees as much as you need to. Reach those hands all the way up towards the ceiling. Palms come together, and exhale, we're gonna close those hands right in front of your heart. We're gonna do that again. Sun salutation A. Take an inhale, lift those hands all the way up. Exhale, fold forward. Hands to the shins or to the thighs. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, release, bend your knees, place your hands down onto the floor, step back, your plank, modified or not. Lower down, either all the way into the floor, or you can take that chaturanga. Sarah and Grace are gonna come into that modified cobra. I'm coming to upward facing dog. We come back to downward facing dog, or you can take that all fours position. Couple breaths here. And then look forward at your hands. We'll walk or step those feet up to meet your hands. Take an inhale to that halfway position again. Exhale, release. Flat back, take an inhale, come all the way up to the top. Hands come together. Exhale, we'll bring those hands all the way down. Good, we're gonna do it again. Take an inhale, reach those hands all the way up. Keep going. Exhale, fold it forward, flat back. Good, all the way down towards the ground. So you know all of this. Take an inhale to that halfway position, either hands on the shins or hands on the thighs. Back is nice and flat, beautiful. Exhale, release, bend your knees, place your hands down onto the floor, step back to your variation of a plank. Taking that chaturanga or a modification, all the way down into the floor, into that baby cobra right here. Perfect. Press back, downward facing dog. Nice, you guys. Good, look forward at your hands. Step your right foot forward, step your left foot forward. Inhale to that halfway position. Exhale, release. Flat back, take an inhale, come all the way up to the top. Reach those hands up nice and high, palms come together, and then exhale, we close those hands right in front of our heart. So coming into chair pose this time, this is part of Sun Salutation B. We're gonna sit the butt back and down. Reach those hands all the way up. Good. So from the side, it looks like this. That butt sits all the way back. We wanna draw those shoulder blades down, weights in the heels, nice. Lift that chest just a tiny bit, abs stay engaged, you got it. Perfect. Take one more inhale. And then we're gonna exhale, fold forward just like we did before. Inhale to your halfway position, you know this already. So some of this is the same. Exhale, release, bend your knees, place your hands down, we step back. Lowering down to the floor or into that chaturanga, to that cobra or that upward facing dog, into that downward facing dog. Good, this time we're gonna take that right leg, we're gonna bring it forward, we're gonna step it through. So if when you step, you only get your foot halfway, that's okay. Come up, you can inch your foot forward even more. What you want is your front knee to stack on top of that ankle. We're gonna take the back toes, and instead of like a regular lunge where we're staying on the toes, we're gonna turn the toes out a bit. So like a 45-degree angle, and press through the outside of your back foot. So the most common thing that happens is people kind of collapse through that arch. So pressing that outside of that back foot down, keeping that front knee stacked, we inhale up to warrior one. Yeah, nice. So as we reach those hands, we want those shoulder blades to draw down, beautiful right here. Keeping that knee stacked, just like Sarah has here, right? So I care more about your knee stacking than how low this lunge gets. So you don't really have to worry about that so much. Keeping that back leg engaged as much as we can. So again, pressing through the outside of that back foot to lift that arch. There you go. Yes, nice. One more inhale. And then as you exhale, bring those hands all the way down to the ground. We're gonna pivot those toes so that they face forward. We're gonna step the right foot back. We're gonna come through that chaturanga. If you don't wanna come through chaturanga anymore, just go straight to your downward facing dog. Otherwise, we can lower down. Take your cobra or your upward facing dog into that downward facing dog. So we'll do the exact same thing on the other side. Left foot's gonna step forward. Inch it forward as much as you need to get the knee to stack on top of the ankle. Turn your back toes out. Press down, lift yourself all the way up into that warrior one on the other side. Shoulder blades draw down. Belly firms in. We keep that chest nice and lifted. And I want you to also think about pulling that front heel back towards the back of the mat. That's gonna engage underneath the leg, right? So it's almost like we're pulling our feet together even though they're not actually going together. We're just pulling that back heel, or sorry, that front heel to the back. Awesome, nice. Take one more inhale. And then as you exhale, bring those hands all the way back down. We pivot those back toes so that they face forward. We step back. If you want to go straight into your downward facing dog, you can. We come down, chaturanga, cobra or up dog, into that downward facing dog. Nice. Look forward at the hands. Step that right foot forward, step that left foot forward. Take an inhale to that halfway position, lengthen, nice. Exhale, release down. We're gonna come back to that chair position, so bend your knees, reach those hands up nice and high. It's just like a squat, the weight's in the back of the heels. Draw those shoulder blades down, belly lifts, chest lifts. And then we're gonna stand all the way up, bring your palms together, and close your hands right in front of your heart. Doing that one more time. Sun salutation B, we take an inhale, sit down in your chair, lift those arms up. Exhale, fold it forward. Inhale to that halfway, we lengthen. Exhale, release, bring your hands down. Step your right foot back, step your left foot back. Chaturanga, lower down. Option to go all the way into the floor. Upward facing dog or that cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Right foot comes forward. Step it through, get the knee to stack, turn your left toes out so they're going at that 45-degree angle, that corner of the room. Feeling like you're pulling that right heel back as you lift yourself up. So we're not just pressing down, we're pulling back with that leg so that we can get that hip to pull back as well. Big inhale, big exhale. And then we bring those hands all the way back. Turn those back toes, step your right foot back to meet it. We lower down. Upward facing dog or cobra to that downward facing dog. Last side here, take your left leg, bring it in, step it through. Warrior one on the other side, outside of your back foot presses down. That front heel pulls back, we inhale, lift all the way up. Nice. Shoulder blades draw away. Next exhale, we bring those hands all the way back down to the ground. Turn your back toes, we step back. Last time through that chaturanga, you can go straight to your downward facing dog. And then once we get to that downward dog, we're all gonna drop our knees down onto the ground. Sit your butt back, child's pose, just relax and breathe. Forehead comes down, hands can reach out in front of you, letting those shoulder blades relax as much as you want, yes. Hips are coming back towards those heels. And then you can walk yourself all the way back up. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us for these sun salutations. See you next time.